Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. It's Zaynab and Ansari here. And for the conclusion of our Eid al-Adha video series, we just want to say Eid Mubarak, kul aam wa antum bikhair. May you be well throughout the year. I want to share some advice in thinking about Eid al-Adha and why that day is so special. And for me, it all goes back to the idea of Allahu Akbar, that God is greatest, the takbirat. I actually was thinking the other day that not every Muslim family maybe knows how to say the takbirat. So what I want to do is just really encourage all of our wonderful viewers to take some time before Eid day actually begins and look at the takbirat. And I actually found a hadith about this where companions like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and others were actually known for going about in the marketplace and actually proclaiming the takbirat so that others could hear them and join in. So let this Eid be a time for you to actually show your children the happiness and joy that really resides in being a believer and being a Muslim during this day and age. Teach them how to say the takbirat, teach them how to read it, the older kids can teach the younger kids how to say it, because the idea behind this is that it's not just Eid in terms of, food and clothing and money and whatever the things that people look forward to during Eid al-Adha. It's very much about, these are the days of Allah, ayyamillah. Let's fill them with dhikr, and we have the takbirat right there in front of us. Some people just say, it's kind of secondary. I don't really have to bother with this, but no, let's all really kind of train ourselves over the days of Eid. And actually, you can start on 1st of Dhul Hijjah all the way until Maghrib on the last day of the 3 days of Tashriq. You can be doing your takbirat through the entire time. So figure out a way that makes sense for you and your family, whether it's after the prayers, whether you're in the car commuting, and use that time to proclaim the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, may everybody be well throughout the year and have a wonderful and safe and Mubarak Eid.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Eid Mubarak. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're all in the best of health and spirits, and that you had a blessed 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. For anybody, we probably have a few people who knows anybody on Hajj, but may Allah accept from those who made Hajj this year, and may Allah accept from all of us our good deeds. Ustadha Zaynab, jazakallah khairan for your message. I think that's really important. And as I was thinking also about this Eid in particular, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ came to mind, that the days of Eid are ayyamu aklin wa shurbin wa dhikrillah. They are days of eating and drinking and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they're days of celebration, they're days of enjoyment, they're days of commemoration of the efforts that everybody put forward, of the sacrifices that people made during this period, and of course of the ultimate sacrifice of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. And they are days of remembrance of Allah. And when we look at the overall context in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses Hajj in the Quran, dhikrullah is always central. His remembrance is always central. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, فَإِذَا أَفَضْتُم مِّنْ عَرَفَاتٍ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ. When you proceed from Arafah, then remember Allah in the sacred precincts. وَاذْكُرُوهُ كَمَا هَدَاكُمْ وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. And remember Him as He guided you, and indeed before you had been among those who were astray. And then Allah continues, فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمْ مَنَاسِكَكُمْ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ أَوْ أَشَدَّ ذِكْرًا. And when you've finished your rites, then remember Allah as you used to remember your forefathers, or even stronger, as the practice of remembering forefathers in Jahiliyyah. And then Allah continues again, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ, after a few more verses. So the entirety of the description of the Hajj is interwoven with the importance of the remembrance of Allah. And so let's use these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, let's use these days of Eid as a launching pad for us to be in a state of dhikr, as a launching pad for us to be in a state of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We mentioned in one of the previous videos that the Prophet ﷺ said that the best of days are the best of days are the day of Arafah, or the best of days is the day of Arafah. And the best thing that I or any prophet before me said is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahu al-mulk wa lahu al-hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. So let's pay attention to this reminder that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us, and fill these days with the takbirat before salah, as we're coming and going, and in all moments. Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yadhkurullah ala kulli ahyanihi. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to remember Allah in all of his various conditions. So let's make these days of enjoyment and celebration and remembrance of Allah. And let's remember that we celebrate a renewal of our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these days. And let's again use it as something that springs us forward and pushes us forward through the rest of the year. كل عام وأنتم بخير. تقبل الله منا ومنكم. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.